वक्रतुण्डा महाकाया वक्रतुण्डा महाकाया सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सा नि ध नि रे ग म रे ग सा नि ध नि सा नि प म ग म ध नि रे ग म प रे ग सा। We've got about 45 minutes to an hour, and I shall take you through a short journey of what music means to me, and if it can connect with you and some of your beliefs, I'll be very happy when I go back from here this evening. The world of music has got two main elements. One is melody. We call it music because it has got a melody or a combination of notes that we like hearing. In the Western world, it's called melody, and in the Indian world, it's called sur. And rhythm. Rhythm means tal. So melody and rhythm create the world of music. However, both these elements operate on a platform. Having worked with the IT industry for more than 10 years, I somehow have gotten used to using the word platform. It's actually the octave of 7 notes. And those 7 notes are sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. These 7 notes in the Western world are called do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. 7 notes which are called the universal 7 notes, and these notes have the power to create all the music in the world. Hundreds and thousands and millions and billions and trillions of compositions, songs, symphonies, orchestras, choir, bhajan, Bollywood songs, Hollywood songs, rock, reggae, pop, Assamese bihu, my favorite, that's from where I was born, Launi of Maharashtra. Any kind of music under the sun is composed out of these 7 notes only. That's the power that these 7 notes have. However, there are 2 principles that guide the use of these 7 notes. Those are the principles. First principle is love for them. Very much like our human lives, and also a lot about being good leaders. We need to love what we do, and most importantly, we need to love the people who work with us. So if we have or have developed love for these 7 notes and treat them with the respect that they deserve, these notes can create an amazing magic for us. Melody, rhythm, these 7 notes, that's the world of music. Why do we say that a particular piece of music is nice to hear, or you like hearing, or it gives you pleasure and you get a smile on your face? That's because that melody has been created with the thought and a lot of passion towards creating that piece. Before I demonstrate how a piece gets created with the 7 notes, I would like to talk a little bit about how the therapy of music works. Apart from being a great entertainment tool, a great way to sensitize ourselves with various kinds of aesthetic melodies and rhythms and songs and different kinds of music from across the world, music has been increasingly used as a therapy for health and holistic development. How does the science of music therapy work? Music from the musician travels through sound waves to the target. For example, all of you sitting here. And as soon as you hear a piece of music, your mind, or more technically the brain, starts responding to that piece of music. And if you like listening to that, you give a message to your nervous system and say, hey, I think we like what you're hearing. And your nervous system starts getting calm and composed. And that's when the phenomenon of endorphins starts producing in your mind, in your body. So that's why we say it's mind over matter. If a mind says that we want to be happy and we like what we're doing, our body responds to it. This is the very basic science of music therapy, or therapy with sound. There's a lot of research that's happening with music and cognitive preservation, how the sound waves can impact the brain, create a healthier brain, preempt diseases, maybe like Alzheimer's, and then, of course, can reduce the stress that's created in the brain because of the way we think and overthink and want to do so many things and get hassle with all the things that happen with us in our lives. So that's about music therapy. It's used in clinics, rehabilitation clinics. It's used in medical centers for recuperation. So if someone's had a surgery, it's used for hypertension treatment. It's used for prenatal and postnatal developments. It can be used for so many interventions. It can be used for you and me. And I would urge people who work in the corporate world or in any professional group to be able to take the benefits of listening to music, which can help us, be healthy and feel good. Because our energy gets produced and endorphins get produced, it helps us in our learning, it helps us in listening, thinking clearly, more focus, and those are the things that we basically need to develop our careers and our domain and our craft. So that's about music therapy. Coming back to the 7 notes. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. When you hear the honk of the BEST buses in Mumbai, all of us would have heard that, right? That's also sound, and why can't we? That's also sound that we hear. So the sound would be. It's 2 notes being played. Sa 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 ni 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 sa 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 ni 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 sa 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 sa. But we don't roll down our glasses and start dancing when we hear the honking, because the notes haven't been created with love and respect and thought and structure. But that's sound, and it's an octave in which it's operating. 2 notes are operating together. Let me show you how these 7 notes get created into a melody. Sa re ga, ga re sa ni da ni sa re ga. Love, little bit, pauses, pace, various kind of human things that we do with the notes create the music. Sa re ga pa ma ga re ga pa ma ga ma re sa re sa. Sa ni da ni sa ni da pa ga pa dha ni sa re ga re sa re ga pa ma ga re ga pa ma ga ma re sa re sa. I've sung Rag Bilawal, a morning rag. My mother wouldn't be happy I'm doing it at 5 in the evening, but just to try and show it to you. So it's Rag Bilawal. Ga pa dha ni sa re da ni dha pa ma ga re ga pa ma ga ma re sa re sa ni da ni sa re sa ni da ni da pa ga pa da ni sa re sa. Bilawal, or these notes, are also there in all kinds of music that you hear. What you hear in films are the lyrics, and you see the cinematography, you see the visuals. But what lies beneath every song and music that you hear are these 7 notes. Sa re ga pa ma ga re ma ga, sa pa ma re ma ga, sa pa ma re ma ga, sa pa ma re ga ma ga, sa pa ma re pa ma, sa pa ma re pa ma, sa pa ma re ga ma ga, sa ni sa re ga ma ga, sa ni da ni sa ni da pa ga pa da ni sa re sa pa ma re ma ga, sa pa ma re ma ga, sa pa ma re ga ma ga ma ga ma ga ma ga ma pa ma ga re sa pa ma re pa ma, sa pa ma re pa ma, sa pa ma re ga ma ga, sa ni sa re ga ma ga, sa ni sa sa ni sa re ga ma ga, sa ni sa sa. You'll know this song? Which song? बोलने से नहीं होगा. दिल की जो बातें जो दिल में तू रखना भी गम 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 पम गर सा पम रे पम सा पम रे पम सा पम रे गम गा. पिया बोले क्या ये बोले जानू ना, जिया डोले हाले हाले क्यों ये डोले जानू ना. Okay, you've got to help me as we go along, okay? Because I'm trying to sing and play. So give me those in between breathers. Thank you. A very simple combination of notes, and that's what is done by music composers, directors, artists. And the same rag can be presented in different forms and different variations. So that's why they say music is one of the best mediums to innovate, to create, to improvise. Because classical music, again, has a text and a structure. And it's got written down methods of playing different kinds of compositions. And these structures are prevalent in all kinds of musical melodies. Sapa, tani, sani, da, sapa, tani, sani, da, pa, re, ga, ma, pa, re, ga, ma, pa, ma, ga, pa, re, ga, ma, ga, pa, ga, re, sa. all kinds of songs. And Rag Yaman, which is an evening rag, it can be played as a great rag. Ni dha ni re ga ma pa re ga sa ni dha ni sa ni pa ma dha ni re ga ma pa re ga sa. The roots of music lie in the 7 notes. So this is a bhajan in Rag Yaman, and all of you know that. Ni re ga 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 ma ga re ga re sa sa ni dha ni re ma ma pa ma da ma ma ga re ga re sa. Shri Ramachandra kripalu bhajamana parama bhaya bhava manaram. Rhythm. 7-beat tal called Rupak. You can count with me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ti ti na ti na ti na ti ti na ti na ti na ti. Music has a lot of math along with it. So if you have ever thought kalakar hai, they don't have a care in the world. It's such a wonderful life, you know, you can just sit and sing, she can keep on playing without a care in the world. There's a lot of math in the entire world of rhythm. 7 beats, 16 beats, 10 beats, 12 beats, 14 beats, and a lot of permutations and combinations that go in every time we Dina, Dina. After many years in the corporate world, I realized that why am I so numerically challenged? I worked for 17 years, could never present a budget accurately. I realized that because of all the math that I have been doing, my mother has been making me do since I was 8 years old, it all has gone into the rhythm. And before anyone could, you know, find out, I left the full-time corporate world. No more training budgets. I can just use the math that I'm comfortable with. Dina, Dina, Di. Every time you start a composition, it has to come to the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dina, Dina, Dina. Ga, ga, ga re sa ni dha ni re re ga. Pa ma ga ma ga re ni re ga re sa ni dha ni re re. Ga ma pa ga pa ma ga re sa ni dha ni re sa ni dha ni re. Ni re ga ma pa ma ga re sa ni dha ni re re ga. Ni re sa sa sa. So we just want to start with the value chain from devotional music. The next is a khayal, which is a classical composition. This is in teen tal. Ga ga da na bha da na dha din din da da din din da da din din da. 16 beats. Keep counting. You can't go here and there. Just 16 beats. Dha din din da da din din da da din din da पैया परू तोरे कारण कुंवरा पैया परू तोरे कारण कुंवरा रे मोरे गगरना भरना रे गे रे गम गम पम गम गरे सा गगरना सानी द पम प गम पम गम गरे सा गगरना भरना देना रे मोरे गगरना भरना देना. That was Khayal. I wish I could have done all the pieces, but I've got to carry on with the talk. Then we come to another genre, which is ghazals, moving on from devotional, from where all the music in the world started, because music started by calling and telling God that we can hear you. Can you hear me? That's how it started thousands and thousands of years ago. And some of the rishis and pandits, they sat down and started writing rhythm of the wind, the rhythm of the ocean, the chirping of the birds, the movement and the rustle of the trees, and that's how various kinds of musical rhythms and compositions got created. After Khayal, which is a Hindustani classical composition in the medium-paced teen tal, move on to ghazals. And all of you know this. This is in Rag Yaman. I'm sure so many of you sing this ghazal, and I'm not sure if you knew it was in Rag Yaman unless you have studied or been exposed to classical music. You have to tell me which ghazal it is, okay? Sani dhani re re ga ma ga sani sa re dhani re re ga ma ga sani. Yes, I need some help. Hai mar jayenge hum to lut jayenge. Wow. ऐसी बातें क्या ना करो आज जाने की जिद ना करो निधा निर रे ग म ग सानी पार सानी निर रे ग म ग सानी सा. That's a ghazal. From then we move on to, as the genres started progressing, we had multimedia, audio visuals. We had lots and lots of songs, and Bollywood has given us a lot of melodies, and lots of music in Bollywood is so raga based. Pa pa ma ga re sa, pa pa ma ga re sa, sa ni re 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 sa ni, sa re ga ga ma pa dha dha dha, pa ni dha ni dha pa. It's a male song. Re 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 sani sari ga re ga mujhe to hosh na dena jag bolo ho ja agar main deewana chandan sabadan. Romantic song, different kinds of, there's still some more. I love the applause, but the next is It's our lighter version of Bollywood. Qawwalis, ni ni re re ga 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 re ga ni re ga re sa, ni re re pa ma ga ma ni da pa sa ga ma pa ni da re ma da pa sa re da pa ma ga. दिलों जान लुटाने को जी चाहता है, दिलों जान लुटाने को जी चाहता है, जी चाहता है. नीरे का करेगा नीरे मा मगम नीरे का करेगा नी करे रेगा गमा मगानी सासनी निदा दा पा मगरे सरी दा मगरे नी दा मगरे सानी रेगा मुलाकात का कोई पैगाम कीजिए के चुप चुप के मिलने को जी चाहता है, निगाहें मिलाने को जी चाहता है. Qawwali, so which is a lighter version. So there is no class or mass in music because all music in the world has got the 7 notes. So whether it's an item number in Bollywood or a jazz piece or a devotional piece in the temple, it has just got the 7 notes. So let's be kind to everyone's taste in music because nothing can make music impure. Yes, if some of us don't like the jhatkas and the matkas of the item numbers, it's our choice. But well, that's also music because that's just the 7 notes. I'm going to show that to you later in the session because I don't want to play an item number just now with the Yaman. But yeah, Qawwalis were item numbers. They were of yesteryears, and people used to have a lot of fun listening to Qawwalis. So this is about Bollywood. Even in any kind of music across the world, there are 7 notes. And when you get trained in one kind of classical craft or a classical style, you can play any music in the world with your ears. Ni sa re ga re ga pa ma ga re sa, ni sa re ga pa ma ga re sa sa ni da pa ma da pa ma ga re ma ga re sa ni sa re ga pa ma ga re sa ni sa re ga pa ma ga re sa ni da pa ma da pa ma ga re ma ga re sa ni sa. So if I had to play Mozart when I was trying to learn, I had to learn it through the notes. With that, I'm coming to the first leadership lesson of this session. And I'm going to tell that to you after I finish playing this piece. And I'll move on to an Indian piece right after the Mozart. And you'll see it's just the same notes, the style, the feel, and the structure is different. Well, that was Western classical and Indian classical raga. Well, it's also there in popular Western music, and you can sing this song with me because I don't know most of the words. Sa 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 ni sa, sa sa ni sa re ga re, sa 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 ni sa, across the and the spaces between us. You've come to see you go on. Near, far, where Pamagari, Gama, Magari, Sani, Sani, Dhapa, Sare, Sapa, Magari, Gama, Magari, Sani, Sa, my heart will go on and on. Sari, Gari, Sari, Pa, Kapa, Dhapa, Gari, Dhani, Sari, Dhapaga, Padani, Dhapagari, Sari, Gari, Sadha, Dhari, Sadha, Sapa. Love will touch us one time and last for a lifetime. Sa, 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 ni, sa, pa. Love is when I loved you. Sa, sa, ni, sa, re, ga, re. Sa, 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 ni, sa, pa. Sa, re, sa, pa, ma, ga, re, ga, ma, ga, re, sa, ni, sa. My heart will go on and on. That was the Titanic number. Thank you. Well, the reason that you'll enjoy these pieces is not because I'm a great singer or a violinist or anything. It's just that because I learned Rag Yaman since I was 8 years old. And when I first learned this rag, and my ma used to say, okay, play the bandish again. I said, Ma, I've played it at least 15 times. Can I learn something else? She said, you know, you call your daughter also Ma, and we call Ma also Ma. She said, Ma, you have to play it for all your life. And that's what some gurus do with their students, and the students run away for their lives. If, you know, it's so overwhelming to keep doing the same thing in the world of classical music, but that depth of domain, that building your craft and exploring the various facets of one raga deeper and deeper year after year, hearing various musicians play it, playing it yourself in different variations with different artists, with different kinds of feelings. That's what builds the depth of your domain. And in the business world today, the differentiator is how deep your domain is. No matter how many roles you have to change, no matter how much of multi-skilling we need to do, no matter how businesses change, the dynamics in the market is changing, mergers, acquisitions, shutdowns. If you are strong in your domain, will always be in demand. As individuals, will never be out of business if you have a functional expertise in the right place. So if you young people in your team, encourage them to keep building their subject, whatever the core domain is, if it's HR or finance, within finance, if it's pricing or business models or strategy, technology, let's not get far away from our domains. And if we've not got an opportunity to explore our core subject, let's keep doing our own research. We don't know when we're going to need it tomorrow. And that's what classical music teaches us. The first lesson of a leader to be respected, you've got to know your subject. कुछ भी नहीं जानता है बॉस हम कैसे काम करेंगे. That's what the young people in the team think if you're not very strong in our subject. So that's the first lesson I learned, that if you keep building deeper, you can laterally expand yourself. You can be flexible. And every time we Indian classical musicians can jam with jazz, they can go out across the world and do various kinds of music, is because the way we build the depth in our core ragas and talas when we learn the craft, when we first start getting training. So that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned from music to apply in the business world. That was Yaman, and the next section is about how music can enable us to learn a few very subtle traits about leadership. But a leader can never become a leader if he's never a partner first. He's got to partner with his team. He's got to collaborate with people around him. He's got to share. He's got to respect. He's got to influence. And these are some of the things that musicians have to do, or they'll never be out here standing and playing in front of you. On that note, I have to do a very important thing now. We've got to introduce the people who are partnering with me today. I don't think anyone works for us. They work with us. There are no subordinates in the business world. Once they become subordinates, they're out of your reach. Yeah. you can give them instructions, but that's all. They've got to be your team members. They've got to be your collaborators. They've got to be your partners in the project so that you are just a first among equal. And leaders who have really made it to the top are the ones who have always been in partnership with the team members, with the vision and mission of the organization, and with the market and the customers. So introducing my team members today, Amaya Nayak on the keys, a round of applause. He is a music composer, a percussionist, and can play all kinds of things. So if I play some jazz, he'll produce some drums on the keys also. And he's composed music for a film called Prem Manje, Premastha. So do hear his track, and that's Amaya Nayak for you. On the right, we have completely Mumbai ka Bulga Bhushan Parchure from right across Chembur, very close to where we are, has learned tabla from none other than the god of Indian rhythm, Ustad Allah Rakha, whom we call Abbaji. So I think the lab here, Parmesh, tries to make the traditional and modern both come together. So you have Amaya Nayak, self-trained on the studio and on his console in his studio and plays all kinds of ragas, and you have Bhushan, completely trained in the Indian classical style, coming together. That's the reason I thought I must get them along with me. So now I'm going to properly play an Indian piece called Bharat Darshan. And this talks about how different kinds of pieces from different parts of India can come together with one theme of a rag. Pretty much like our teams, each person is different. Each project is different. The connectors with people create all the difference. And when you try to get change or enable change, it's about how smoothly you transition from one stage to the other that creates the change. So you've got to be alert now, because very soon you're going to be singing with me for the last section of the session. And for singing, we need to sit straight a bit so that, our mind, body, and soul, which is all around us, is aligned. And technically, it's the throat, the lungs, and the gut. Yeah, they say those who sing from the gut are the real singers. So we actually exercise 3 parts of the body when we sing: the throat, the lungs, and the gut. So I'll quickly take you through this session, which you can listen intently and see how the transitions move, pieces move across different parts of India. If I've left your home state, please forgive me. We've got very little time. And Desh. It's Rag Desh, and in Indian classical music, they say it's a science and an art too. So we can also create mixed ragas by keeping the central theme rate. So it's Mishra Rag. How we have policies and we've got to just use them, creatively to the need of the hour. That's exactly what we do in classical music. Every application of every policy, every procedure, every standard operating procedure needs to be seen with a very case-specific situational perspective. Only then it's going to work. Something which is there 10 years back in a manual is not going to work today. Godrej to Pahadi. That's music from the mountains, Pahadi, which I just played. From Pahadi, moving on to Bengal, the Kirtan of Bengal. Just look out the way the transition happens from Pahadi to Kirtan. To our deserts, music from Rajasthan. मैं तो लाज की मारी हो गई पानी पानी, सब लोगों ने सुन ली मेरे प्रेम कहानी। मुँह से बात निकल गई, बात बात माँ, बात बात माँ। चनन चूड़िया, चनन चूड़िया चनक गए, देख साहिबा चूड़िया चनक गए। हाथ माँ मोरनी, बाबा माँ बोले आधी रात माँ। Thank you. Thank you. Wow, the place is all full. I like it. Great. So what did you see in this presentation? I know you all were happy and you all were so kind and you all applaud, you know, in right intervals. What did you all see more than just the performance in the presentation? What did you all observe in the whole act that we put together for you? Coordination. I'll come to your coordination. So the lady there is saying it's coordination. So coordination is an outcome. It's a state of being. And it happens because there is a lot of preparation. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of the whole team process of forming, storming, norming, and all of that has happened. That's when we come to coordination. So a leader just can't have a briefing on a Monday morning and said, let's be a very coordinated team. It doesn't work. Coordination is an outcome of a long and intense process of coming together, of understanding each other. So thank you for that. Someone from here said something else. Synchronization, which is tuned to each other, using the melodic or the musical term, synchronization. And when do we get synchronized with each other? When we understand each other. And you don't wake up in the morning and start understanding your partner or your children just like that. You've got to try and understand them. Make an effort to understand people. And that's the first thing that leaders, we as leaders, we must do. We have to listen to people. So understanding is preceded, again, synchronization is preceded with a lot of listening, understanding, being sensitive, and being able to understand differences. Because it's about diversity. The world today is about diversity. It's being inclusive of each one's skill set, of every different kind of idea that comes to us in our team. It may not work today, but it might work tomorrow. And we've got to respect people's interests, their likes, their preferences, and their skill set. Everyone's not a star performer, and as managers, we love star performers because they're so easy to handle. Give them a project and forget about it. The ones that need development are the ones we're very wary of. We get scared when they come into the room and say, boss, can I say something? Because you need to work on people who have probably got average skill sets, but because you haven't been able to, you know, listen and understand that person, you don't know his or her special skill set. Every human being has got some speciality. And in a business group, someone's good in front-end positions, like you saw Bhushan beating away the tabla, getting all the applause from you. But what Amaya was doing was actually keeping me grounded to my tune and letting me maneuver and transition. So Amaya is a quieter performer today, but extremely important. And do you know, I can play without Bhushan, but I can't play without the melody of the keyboard. So round of applause for people who have always been at the back end. Your MIS, people who handle your MIS, people who handle your admin, who take such a lot of grind, your security, your people who are analysts, individual performers who never come to the limelight because probably they can't speak, or they can't communicate, or they don't have personalities that can take a lot of customers by storm, but they contribute. They are like the wheels of a car. A car has got just one engine. You've got just 20% of star performers in a team, as per the average of the bell curve. The rest, 30%, are enterprising. And the 40% population in our teams and organizations are average performers who are taking the organization like four wheels and taking it to the next level. We've got to understand that. We've got to give them appreciation. Synchronization is an outcome again. All these traits that we want leaders to have are all outcomes. That handsome guy with the blue t-shirt. Yeah, you said chemistry. Yes, chemistry is, again, getting tuned. What did you see in our chemistry? Did I go and hug Amaya, how nice you are? Did I go and pat Bhushan on the back? What did you see amongst us? Respect for each other, absolutely. In the real time, you know, what you've done before doesn't matter. In front of the customer in a real-time environment, you've got to only build on people's strengths. And we cannot, you know, talk about people's opportunities in public. We've got to build on their strengths. And we've got to appreciate those strengths. So as a musician, or if I'm the lead musician, I mean, I don't know why they call a lead musician, but you do say, okay, musician. I have to be able to build on my musicians and my partner's strengths. If I know Amaya is good in something, I've got to let him play that. If I know Bhushan is good in that rail, I've got to make him play that and share the limelight and share the, the place under the sun. Everyone deserves appreciation. So how did we appreciate each other? What did I do to make you feel that I respected them? What did I do? I was standing on my own position, just moving here and there and dancing a bit. Yes, through communication, through body language, through eye contact. Just hold this for a bit. For example, if I say, so would you like to hear some more music from me? I'm tired. So would you like to hear some more songs from us? That's called congruent body language. So as a leader and a team member, you're always with your arms closed and your eyes and hearts closed. You just want to get on with work. It doesn't work with people. People are the most sensitive assets of our team. We've got to listen, and music enhances listening traits. So if you can engage in artistic platform, not just music, okay, what the Culture Lab is doing here, there is art, there is literature, there is science, there is technology being discussed, so that we can be sensitive to all kinds of people. There are artists in your team, there are techies in your team, there are emotional people, there are task people, there are people, there are sensitive, there are loud, there are quiet, and each one contributes. Let's be kind to them and appreciate them. What else did you see? Couple of more things, and we move on to the next. Resonance, yes. The music is resonating because, like they say, the vision of an organization or a team is resonating across countries because there is a very cohesive culture of the organization, which the leaders have been able to put together and demonstrate to the world, and each member of the organization carries forth that kind of communication. So if leaders demonstrate and create the right vision, people along the line will also live the same mission and vision, and that's how you create brand ambassadors. Each of us are brand ambassadors. Those who've come from the Godrej group are the brand ambassadors, and that is not the person's skill only. That's how the organization has been able to trickle that information. What else did you see? The transitions, yes. The transitions were there. When I changed the ragas, I couldn't just make black and white changes. I had to create those bridges between two different kinds of tunes from different parts of India, different culture, different sensitivity, different kind of attunement. So I had to be cognizant of that. What else did you see? Love your work. You don't have to come to work at all. If you love what you do. So again, I'm not asking you to look for a job tomorrow, please. But if you can really love what we do, we don't have to come to work at all. And it doesn't have to be outside. I mean, we can do so many creative things within our job profiles. We just have to try and think and see if we can be creative and innovative in our own small projects in our own way. But yes, if you can do what your calling is, you don't have to come to work ever. And yes, we do love what we do, otherwise, we wouldn't be synchronized. Something else that I'm trying to hear, you saw that we were not all the time correct. We took a few risks. And people say that organizations have to take risk in this global business world. Risk is again an outcome. There's a lot that goes behind taking risk. We have to have a lot of trust amongst us, amongst people to take risks. You've got to know that when you're taking that risk and the jump, the people who will hold you and help you and catch you when you fall. So building trust is very important, and we can't do it on stage. Okay, आज हम लोग अलग-अलग risk लेंगे, भूषण, आप दूसरा बजा, हम दूसरा बजाएंगे. It doesn't work. We've got to keep on playing together and creating those trust relationships and dynamics, and that's what helps us take risks. And he goes soft and I go fast, and Amaya does different kinds of chords. I'm sorry, Amaya is holding the violin for so long and you're playing with one hand. That's about, yes, needs an applause. That's about really, really holding your hand when you need that help. All right, so that's the second part of what I've learned, the second lesson of leadership, collaboration and partnerships. But the third most, beautiful element of music is assimilation. Understanding your customer, understanding the culture of your business operation, of the region in which you operate. Mumbai is different from Kolkata, Kolkata is different from Delhi, and Delhi is different from Chennai, and each region and each country has a different culture. And it doesn't matter if you're a CEO who has restructured a large organization and been successful. What matters is how you've aligned your experience to the current context, to the organization's current vision and mission and need. Most importantly, the culture of the organization, then the customer, what the customer needs. If you don't understand the customer, we're nowhere. I know that today we have a group of people who's primarily come from work today, and it's a Friday. So I can't do things that I want to do. I've got to do things that will connect with you for the time of the day, time of the week, and the expectation that music takes roots has given you all through the week to come and be part of this session. And the last thing, the dynamics of the market. We've got to be very cognizant. If I do not collaborate, I'll be out of business, sadly, because I've got to play different kinds of music in the same way that I play my classical rags. I've got to innovate. If we do not assimilate, we'll be out of the market. Fusion is the big thing about music today, but it's not confusion. Fusion means coming together of energies, of entities, where each maintain their own identities and create a new synergy without diluting each other's beautiful traits. You come together. So I'm going to do a small demonstration of fusion. I'm going to play a short piece from an iconic album called Conversations. We need electric drums and the bass guitar for that. But we'll see what Amaya will do with this little thing that he has over there. The idea is to play two different kinds of musical genres. Carnatic, I'm not trained in Carnatic, okay, a disclaimer, and jazz. Stephen Grappelli, the great jazz violinist, and Dr. L. Subramaniam, the great Indian or world violinist, Dr. L. Subramaniam, all of us know of it. Conversations I have someone here, Albert, who introduced me to Conversations, and that's the album that I learned and got to know. Rags baja rahe. Mom, I used to ask my mother, what is it that their two violinists are playing? They're playing things like us, but it's sounding so different. Fusion of Carnatic and, or rather Indian music and jazz. There are two violins that play here, but I'm going to try and play it in one violin, just a demonstration. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Well, as we take a breather, we could take a few questions, and I would really like to end on a musical piece that I've prepared or I've come with. So if there are any questions, we'll definitely take a few.
There's this famous story that goes around about Joshua Bell, the famous violinist, who was asked to perform on Washington, D.C. station and didn't get that kind of a response. I was curious to know what your take is. Does music need context? Should that experiment have not been done? What was your takeaway? What does it really mean, for the music, for the musician, for the audiences? Anything that you'd like to talk about? Absolutely.
That's a great story that I've been inspired with myself, and I've been very confused because this story has been doing the rounds for a few years now. That is it the context or is it the music that matters? And after a lot of thinking, I realized it's the music that matters. Because if Joshua Bell, the previous night, his concert at Kennedy Center, Lincoln Center was sold out, and there were queues and people didn't get tickets to get in, and the next morning he played at New York Central Station. And so yes, people were passing by initially. They weren't queuing up to hear him. They were going all about their day's work. But the music was so strong that they stopped and started listening to him. So that makes us feel good that the quality of the music that you do, however much you build context, you will be sold out once, so the next time your auditorium won't be sold out if that day you didn't do what you had to do with the right quality. And quality in music is sur and tal, melody and rhythm, the accuracy of the frequency. The person who's helping us with the sound, Ambarish, he is very knowledgeable. And the frequency of the notes creates the melody and the accuracy of the 7 notes, and then the way you use the rhythm to your benefit is what creates music. So if people wouldn't have stopped and started talking, it seems there was a crowd around him in the station, then I would have said that only context matters, only publicity matters, only packaging and presentation matters. It does matter to take you through the clutter of the market that's there today. Because no one's going to hear me if I say, I'm going to play so-and-so rag, and I've got to be able to present it. But once you've presented it, it's just a one-time thing. If you don't prove yourself and the quality is not right, the context doesn't matter.
My question is on Indian and classical. So in classical and Western music. In Western music, when we have an orchestra, there are notes which are there, and then the number of musicians increase because of that. And there's a conductor who will be able to do. While in Indian, there are fewer people and the Jugalbandi comes in, and the musicians kind of come down. So because you're talking for leadership and all, so there is, when you follow like a set pattern, you can increase the bandwidth. Does that happen in Indian classical also?
See, when you follow a set pattern, it's like standard operating procedures, like manufacturing. Like your industry has got SOPs. Every time you produce something, in the entire chain of the production, you have an SOP. Everyone follows a certain kind of standard operating procedure. Only then do the refrigerators come out the way they need to, from the alignment to the quality check, right? So it's all written down, and if there is a mistake, it doesn't work. However, in Indian classical music, that's how Western classical music is. That's why I don't think we can take the entire Western classical world for the leadership perspective I'm trying to work on. Again, it's not a theory which has been certified yet, though it's going to be used from Sunday onwards in the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Music is going to be used as one of the mediums for change management at TISS. In Indian classical music, that's what there's a science and an art. And that's why I was challenged today with 45 minutes to 1 hour, because there's a lot with the Indian scientific part, the structure and the innovation. So every rag has its own structure. Yaman mein, it's Tivra Madhyam. In Bilawal, it's Shuddh octave. You use different kinds of notes in Bhimpalashri. Ni sa ga ma pa ni sa ni da pa ma pa ga sa ga ma pa ma ga ma ga ri sa ni pa ni sa ga ri ni sa. Bhimpalashri. And Bhimpalashri can be used for bandishes, for jazz, and for item numbers. Shama sundara mana mohan rasiya आबन से बजावत कदम की छेड़ा शाम सुंदर मन मोह बाबा बाबा सा ममा ममा नी ममा मगा मगा सा बाबा बाबा बा सा ममा ममा नी ममा मगा मगा सा sagamani dani 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 pasani sani da pa maga ma pani sagamani dani 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 pasani sani da pa maga ma re pa ni sa sa ga sa sa ni sa sa pa ni ka sa ni sa sa pa ni re te ga re sa ni sa pa ni ma ga pa ni me Sheila ki Javani ni sa sa pa ni re ga re sa ni sa pa ni gama pani sa ni da pa ma ga ma ga re sa ni sa ga ma pa ma pani sa ni da pa ma ma ga re sa ni sa ga re de sa ni sa ga re sa तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त मस्त तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त पा मा मा पा पा पानी हरी पद पा 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 मा मा पा सा नी सा गा नी पद पा पा सा सा नी पा मा पा पा धा पा पा मा मा गा गा रे तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त मस्त नी सा गा रे सा Okay, now you all can sing with me the notes. Sing after me, okay? Ni sa ga ga ga. Very nice. You have to be clear of the rhythm, be alert. Let's see what we learned. Sing in tune. It's the new business world. There are no time for long trainings. You've got to be really trial by fire. You are hired and you're put onto the job. So that's just like that in today's business world. No foundation courses. Jab business kam hoga, tab training pe bhejenge. That's the philosophy, right? Ni sa sa ga re de sa ni sa ga re sa. Okay, so learn on the job. Ni sa ga ga ga. Very nice. Sa ga ma ma ma. Ga ma pa pa ma. Ma pa ni 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 ni. Pa ni sa ni sa ni sa sa. Ni sa ga ma ga re sa. Sa ga ma pa ga ma pa. Ni sa ga ma pa ma pa ni sa ni da pa ma pa ga ri sa ni sa ga re te तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त मस्त तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त मस्त sa ni sa ga re sa. All right, so you're going to go home and say you learned rag Bhimpal Ashri. Please don't say Sheila ki Javani. Okay? So the science of Indian music is so artistic that every artist uses it in a different way. So there, Bhimpal Ashri has been used in an old item number with, forget the item number, it's just building some context, okay? In Sheila Ki Javani it's used differently. It's in Cheez Badi Masmat it's used differently. In the Bhimpal Ashri Rag, Bandish it's used differently, but the notes are the same. So because we have so much creativity, even in our rhythm, it's the only music text in the world which has got creativity and science together and structure. We've got notes, we read notes. Indian classical musicians also have notes and rags and that we stick to, but we can create around. It's pretty much like today's leadership. We cannot just read it from Harvard textbooks or not know marketing from Drucker, take it from the shelf. We've got to use our own personalized strategies and instincts. So that's what Indian music. Well. Okay, so we'll end with music from the world because it's about all across the world, human values, leadership traits are the same. And Tagore, who's a great, everyone knows Tagore. And a lot of his music was also inspired from the West. And I will do a short piece on Tagore's Scottish, the song that he got inspired with. A lot of us do not know that one of the most important, famous Tagore songs was inspired by Robert Burns' poetry. Ye Banks and Braes, you know, the dark time of Scotland, the mountains, and how the poet is feeling very, very sad. Okay, I've got a little few lyrics here. After that, we'll use the track, okay? And those of you who know Tagore will understand which song it is. sa sa re sa re ga ga pa ga re sa re ga re sa sa ga pa pa da sa sa. Ye bands and braes of bonny dun, how can you sing, say, fresh and fair? How can ye chant, ye little birds, when I so weary, full of care? You take my hearts, ye warbling birds, pagasa, pagasa, thapa magadi. Remember me, ye little birds, regare sadapa, padasa sa. Phuli phuli, dholi dholi, wahi kiba ridubai, kotini hillolo tole, kollole choli ajai. Piko kiba kunje kunje, piko kiba kunje kunje, pihu 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 gai. Ki jani kishero lage prano kore hai hai. Phuli phuli dhole dhole, wahi kiba ridubai. Like to end with a song to wish all of you my best wishes in my own language. The song is Ganga Siloni, the bird that comes from the Ganges during springtime to Assam on the banks of the Brahmaputra. And as soon as the bird starts chirping, people get restless. Lovers pine for their loved ones. Nature starts blooming because it's springtime. And the festival of Bihu and spring, which just got over, is celebrated across the fields. There's a lot of happiness, there's a lot of sorrow also, because farmers who give us our food every day do not have enough to celebrate Bihu. The chirping of the bird has got a pain as well as a happiness. 10 minutes is that. Is that okay? This song is for about 8 minutes. It's from my album Bihu Strings. Sapai bogoli, sare khamaniya, oye sapai bogoli, sare. Jobanar purani, kohi banuvaru, oi khuke khu damari dhare. 11 instruments of the Assamese bihu. The actual bihu is this. Roshan Kachura.